So this has been helpful, I'll say. Like thinking about the values, the personality, and like choosing words.
Yeah. I want to just let you know today's session is completely, we can do whatever you want. So I know you've kind of filled out a few bits and pieces on the strategy board, but the time is totally in your hands. So any questions you have, any direction you want to take, feel free to kind of shout out, stop me, ask questions. Okay. I would say that the fact that you're here is a good start. Branding is such it's such an important part of building a business and growing a business. But all too often it gets kind of forgotten or put to the side because, a business strategy might be more important. So the fact that you're here kind of thinking about and investing in brand is a good place to be in. So already you've got a run on the board there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a big believer. Most of my professional career, I've worked for very large, prominent brands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I was sharing with the ZeBrand team, I'm used to having like a brand guide that's like 100 pages long on ways you can use a logo and not use it, and font types and secondary and tertiary and all that stuff. So now being like a solopreneur, like it's very different where I'm like, oh, I guess like I'm the person that makes all that decision.
Yeah, right. It can be a bit daunting as well.
And just from my own experience working for large corporations, I think what I've been trying to figure out for me is like, what do I do and like, what do I not do? And how do I very clearly articulate within my brand what I'm about? And so I've had some words kind of floating around that I've been using, but then I'm also like, is that what I'm doing? So like I'm just, that's where I'm at right now. And it's like, doctors make the worst patients. So I'm like, I consult on this for other people around like being really clear about their value proposition and what they put in a resume or a cover letter, and trying to do it for myself is just like, well, I like this word disruption. And then I'm like, well, but does that make sense? So like,
yeah.
So that's why my brain is like, so.
I totally get it. And it's almost easier to dissect or, to help someone else. And then when you have to flip the picture and look internally and do it on yourself, that can become trickier because it's hard to take an objective lens on something that's so personal to you. And I would say words are, especially in like your brand strategy, where the fewer words, the better, because that means you are kind of crystallizing the idea, and it's that really single-minded proposition in terms of what you offer. So every word has a role. Every word is super important. And words also can be quite subjective. So I know what you mean. Disruption to you might mean disruption to someone else. So I think that's an opportunity where, we crystallize who we are and what we stand for in our brand strategy, but then the key messaging and support campaigns that sit around that give you the opportunity to kind of give context to what that means. Yes. But I've just had a quick look at what you've done so far, and I really like the thinking, and I'm getting a clear sense of not only what you do, what you offer, because that's important. People want to know the services, the functional side of the business, but also people buy into brands because they want to feel part of something, and that emotional connection and having shared values and being able to tap into that side of people's cognition, because even though people are going to work and have their functional minds on, they're still people at the end of the day, so you need to appeal to them on that level. I think brand is a great way to kind of guide internally that strategic decision-making process. So kind of filtering opportunities as they come in, and it can be tempting to say yes to everything. And maybe if you've got capacity at the moment, that's fine. Or while you're still figuring things out, you might say yes to everything for 6 months and then get a sense of, where you have your strengths, where you have not weaknesses, but where, you know, it doesn't feel as honest to who the brand is, because I think that's what is important, is creating a service and products and experiences that are really an authentic reflection of who your brand is. Because I'm sure, you know, you're talented. I'm sure you're able to deliver a load of great services. But if there's clarity in kind of the work that you're doing, then I think it helps kind of build that back into your brand and who you are and what you stand for. And people will get a better sense of, I need to come to Aaron's group for X, Y, Z, but probably not A, B, C, you know?
Yeah.
Which is...
I love what you said there about like what feels honest for the brand. So this has been helpful, I'll say, like thinking about the values, the personality, and like choosing words.
Being very deliberate around that.